Hi everyone, welcome back to Heroes Workshop. This is Stealth. Today we're diving into the world of resin printing with the Elegoo Jupiter SE. This printer has been out for a while, so I'm excited to see if it lives up to the hype. Let's get started. It was packaged really nicely, nothing was broken. And just remember, when you're taking off the cover, everything's inside, so just be careful, unlike me, where I dropped the build plate. And there's some other things, yeah. So here's everything included with the printer. You get a manual, helps you get set up and get started. You get the leveling card, which you use later. These are for the resin bottles to feed the resin in and out of the machine. Here is the resin pump, which you'll install later. And you get a toolkit with some gloves, some tools and screws, scraper, USB stick for transferring files, scraper to remove parts off the bed, adapter, and some filters to transfer resin back into the bottles, some masks, and finally an air filter. First I installed the handles on the cover, really easy with the supplied tools and screws. Then I installed the air filter. It just plugs into the USB on the left side. Next was the resin pump. It's really easy to install, it just takes 2 screws. Just remember, don't tighten these too tight or you're going to break through the plastic. This works with the resin pump, and it screws into a Elegoo resin bottle to help feed in and out resin. I'm going to install the build plate. It's really easy. You just line it up with the bolt underneath the washer. You can see here, and then just tighten up the bolt right after. I plugged in the power adapter. Everything is on the right side along with the power switch and the USB input. I powered it up and everything boots up really quick, which I appreciated. Next was time to level the build plate. So I just raised up the build plate a little bit just to get it out of the way. Loosen the screws on the build plate. Don't loosen them up all the way, just a little bit so you can have some movement and play in the build plate like this. Then put the leveling card on the bottom and then hit home and the build plate will come down. Then tighten up the screws back on the build plate. The leveling card should have some play, but also should grab a little bit. Then set 0. Build plate should be level, and then just bring it back up. That way you can reinstall the resin vat. Then go to Tool, Exposure, then I'm going to pop in the USB stick, and I filled up the vat with some resin. Then I placed the tube into the bottle of resin. This will feed in if you need more resin, and also it will drain the resin out of the vat once you're done. Then I place the cover back on and everything should be ready to print. First thing to print is a test piece supplied in the USB. It is just a small thing, it's just a rook for a chessboard, just to make sure that the printer is working and everything's in order. Just flash forward, the print is done. Got a quick look there. Everything seems to be okay so far. Just remove the build plate. And then remove the part off the build plate. Just gonna have a look here. The quality is incredible, very smooth, and all the details are very fine. So I installed the Cheeto Box slicer software that came on the USB stick. It's simple, you just go and add your printer. It's in the list, just go to Elegoo and then the Jupiter SE will be there. I just left everything at default settings. I didn't want to mess with anything because I'm still not familiar with resin printing, but over time I'll learn more and I can tinker with some of the settings. You can see everything's set up. There's the build plate, same size obviously. So for my print, I just wanted to print something fun. I imported this Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Michelangelo figure. I thought it'd be a good challenge for the printer because it's a lot of intricate pieces and different angles. So I went to add the supports. I just used the automatic support feature, where it just adds supports to everything. You can always go in and fine tune the supports and add supports where you need them. All the supports are there and ready to go. And then you just slice, and then you add the file to the USB and put it back into the machine. So you just go to print, select the file, press play on the red button, and it's ready to go. This machine's really simple to use. Not too complicated at all. I'm actually very surprised how easy it is to use. So then the print was completed. I removed the print bed once again like the last time. Check out the prints. Everything seemed like it was okay. Everything looks really good. Now to remove the resin from the vat, because I'm done printing, so I just go to System, and then I go to Auto Recycle. And this is really cool. Once you hit that button, that will drop down, and then the pump will begin to remove the resin from the vat back into the bottle. So then once it was done, I just used a paper towel to take out the rest, and it was done. Whenever you're resin printing, you have to clean the parts with the excess resin on the surface. So use alcohol in a washing station. So you just fill up the container with alcohol, put the parts in the little basket, and then you lower them into the container and close it. So I just set it for a few minutes, and then it was done. When it's done, I just take the parts out. I dry them off with a paper towel a little bit just to get off the excess alcohol, and then let them air dry for a little bit before I move on. So then I removed all the supports. You can see that I didn't add enough supports to the joints. This was my mistake. I got a little too excited. So it didn't print the joints very well, but I'm just going to use some putty to stick on all the arms and legs. Then I set up the machine for curing. I just placed the part inside and I set it for a few minutes as well. Turn it on, and it'll just turn on the UV lights and spin and get as much of the resin cured as possible. You can do this a few times. You can even flip it different directions just to make sure all the areas are cured. Alright, so here's the Michelangelo figure that I printed. I just did a little bit of sanding, so you might see some rough areas. I kept the arms on for now, but the legs are definitely held on with putty because those joints were unusable. But yeah, you can add supports anywhere you want to make sure that everything prints nicely. But there's an area here that this is also my fault. I got too excited again. I lifted up the cover. I wanted to see how it was working, and I moved the table. And I think it swayed something, and this line made everything kind of offset. You can see it's like a tiny bit. I guess with some sanding you can kind of remove that. It's not part of the detail. It's definitely my mistake. But other than that, it printed fine. All the parts are pretty smooth. And like I said, I did sand the chest a little bit just to get started on the finishing work. Because I do want to paint this and just put it up on my shelf of action figures. Because it's a shame to just let this go to waste. I ran out of time with this printer. I have to move on to some other projects, but I would love to come back to it and print up some new things. So let me know in the comments what kind of things you'd like me to print. This printer could be a great tool for making detail parts for your foam cosplays. I'm planning on making these parts for my own '89 Batman suit. I also want to try testing the printer by printing this entire lawgiver. As long as it fits, it should print as long as you set up the supports right. The Elegoo Jupiter SE 3D resin printer. Like I said before, it was my first time trying out resin printing, and I'm very impressed. This printer was really easy to use, and I recommend it if you're getting into 3D printing and you want to print maybe props or action figures or statues. And I'm also looking forward to using it for my cosplays as well. This is Stealth from Heroes Workshop. Thanks for watching. Please like the video, subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon.
Stealth, answer me. Stealth!